Part 1. The raid unleashed early Monday. ICE launched Operation Shadow Tide across Los Angeles. Their target, 156 undocumented immigrants with violent criminal histories. But buried in their list, a convicted child murderer who vanished in 2019, Francisco Arce, and a serial rapist who terrorized 3 states, Juan Martinez. How did these monsters hide in plain sight, and why did it take this long to find them? Tonight, we dig through the wreckage. Let's start at the beginning. Monday morning, ICE descended on LA like a swarm of locusts. 250 agents fanned out across the city. They hit 23 residential neighborhoods, targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records. It was personal for some victims. A woman identified only as Sophia told us, "I woke up when someone broke down my door. There were like 20 agents inside. I screamed." Then she saw his face. That agent, he was the one who grabbed me. He ripped me out of bed, threw me on the floor and handcuffed me. All the time he kept screaming in my face, "You're under arrest. You're under arrest." That face, Agent Victor Gonzalez of ICE. A veteran agent, confidential sources say he spearheaded the hunt for Juan Martinez. Gonzalez knocked and talked his way into several homes before finding his man. But how did ICE know where to look? A source close to the investigation says it started with an anonymous tip, a call about a suspected criminal safe house. As always, we pressed for details. The caller said the suspects were armed. When officers entered the home, they found weapons and 5 undocumented immigrants. One matched the description of a known gang member wanted for questioning in a series of home invasions. Within hours, that suspect was on a plane back to San Diego, where the crimes happened. News of the raid spread quickly. By midday, dozens of protesters gathered outside the federal courthouse in downtown LA. Then, word came of 2 more arrests. In Compton, Francisco Arce, the child murderer who vanished 4 years ago. And in South LA, Juan Martinez, the serial rapist. He was living in Mid-City. Sources say ICE tracked him to an apartment on West 6th Street. They set up surveillance. One agent even posed as a food delivery driver to get closer to the apartment. Around 7 p.m., they moved in. We learned that Martinez resisted arrest and tried to escape out a window. When they caught him, they found drugs and a gun. In total, ICE arrested 119 people, 24 of them Level 1 offenders, including Arce and Martinez. But as the dust settled, new fears emerged. Many of those arrested were not violent criminals. Some were undocumented immigrants with small drug convictions or immigration violations. One man was picked up for driving without a license, others for stealing cable TV. So the question is, what do they do next? 8 men were put on planes and flown to Louisiana, where they'll await deportation hearings. 5 others were taken across the border to Texas. For now, the rest are behind bars at the Theo Lacey Jail in Orange County. They range in age from 22 to 50 years old. Most are from Mexico, El Salvador, and Guatemala. One is a U.S. citizen. His name is Kevin Covarrubias. He's 22 years old and he's charged with harboring an illegal immigrant. Apparently, he gave a friend a place to stay after he crossed the border. We reached out to Mr. Covarrubias through his attorney, but he declined our request for an interview, so we have no idea why he did it. Meanwhile, the hunt is over for some, but for others, it's just begun. Part 2. Community Terror. As handcuffs clicked across LA, panic spread. Not just fear of ICE, but fear of the predators living next door. In immigrant neighborhoods, whispers turned to screams. Who else is hiding? That's how we reached Maria Vasquez. She didn't want to reveal her face or her real name, but she agreed to talk about the nightmare gripping her community. When I heard about the raids, I barricaded our doors, she explained. Not from ICE, from the monsters they missed. She was talking about 3 men arrested in her neighborhood. 2 were undocumented immigrants accused of domestic violence. The third was a registered sex offender. Records show he served time for abusing a 15-year-old girl. "I am terrified," said Maria. "They could have been anyone. They could have been living next door, going to the same church, attending my son's soccer games." We checked. A man matching the sex offender's description lived on Mariposa Avenue in Mid-City. On Tuesday, we went to his home to see what his neighbors had to say. Everyone we asked refused to talk. They were too afraid. Instead, they sent us anonymous messages through a mobile app. "This guy is a monster," wrote one neighbor. "He's lucky he wasn't caught." Added another. "We are scared," said a third. "What if there are more predators in our community?" Part 3. Fire in the streets. Wednesday afternoon, activists flooded downtown LA demanding an end to the raids. Police estimated 1,000 people strong. The crowd marched from MacArthur Park to Pershing Square. Chants of "No human is illegal" and "SCPD, I hate your guts" echoed through the streets. But as the sun set, so did tempers. Around 9 p.m., police cited several people for blocking traffic. That's when tensions boiled over. A Molotov cocktail sailed through the air. It landed near a squad car. Flames erupted. Suddenly, the protest turned violent. Protesters hurled bottles, cans, and frozen water bottles at officers. Cops responded with batons and pepper spray. At least 5 people were arrested. So, was this a fight for justice, or had fear mutated into violence? The burning questions: who radicalized the protests, and did ICE's cleanup mission ignite a disaster? As for the Molotov cocktail, we may never know who threw it. But we can tell you who the cops blame. According to LAPD, outside agitators infiltrated the mostly peaceful rallies. Surveillance footage shows several people throwing items at officers. One man in particular stood out. He wore a black hoodie and kept throwing objects. That man is a known member of an extremist group, the Revolutionary Communist Party. He's wanted for similar attacks in other cities. Meanwhile, ICE presses on. They vow more raids are coming soon. But in LA's immigrant communities, fear has blossomed into action. Groups are forming, mutual aid networks to help undocumented immigrants avoid ICE. We spoke to one organizer. She wouldn't identify herself for fear of retaliation, but she agreed to share her thoughts. People are scared, and rightfully so. They're calling it the Sanctuary Network because everyone is working together, pooling resources, food, money, legal services. If ICE comes to your home, we will have people ready to help. Part 4. Answers in the Ashes. We still have a lot of unanswered questions. Where does this go from here? Here's what we do know. Question: why target LA? Confidential sources tell us a tipster alerted ICE to a criminal safe house. Q. How many were violent criminals? ICE arrested 24 Level 1 offenders, including the killer and the rapist. Q. Why the violent protests? LAPD confirms outside agitators hijacked peaceful rallies. And Q. What now? ICE vows more raids, while community groups prepare sanctuary networks. But the real horror, this is just the beginning. Closing. Tonight, LA sleeps with one eye open. The streets hold secrets darker than any ghost story, and the most terrifying monsters wear human skin. If you're watching this, you've seen the abyss. Now dive deeper. Smash subscribe for our next investigation, the Underground Railroad for Killers. Comment below, what's the real story ICE isn't telling? And remember, in a city of shadows, stay vigilant.